Welcome, everybody, to episode 40 of Sports Talk with Brodes. As always, you can call into the show using your voice recording app on your cell phones and sending it to sportsandbrodes@gmail.com. And you can follow me on Twitter at sportsandbrodes, which will allow you to see when my latest episodes have been released along with my YouTube videos. So let's get it started. Episode 40. We were close to 50 episodes, which to me is a huge milestone. Let's hop on in, because a few nights ago, on Wednesday night, the 76ers took on the Los Angeles Lakers in LA at the Staples Center. And what occurred was a beautiful victory by the Philadelphia 76ers of a score of 115 to 109. But that is not the only beautiful thing that occurred. It is what happened in the game. And our man, Joel Embiid, puts on a show. Something that has never happened in the history of the NBA. 46 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists, 7 blocks. The NBA hasn't seen a big man this dominant in forever. I saw some tweets. Hakeem Embiid. I thought that was great. Everyone's talking about it. Now everyone wants to talk about how great the Sixers are, how great the process was after everyone ripped it apart for forever when it was going on. Now people are starting on the bandwagon of how great this 76ers team is. Ben Simmons, 18 points, 10 assists, 9 rebounds, and there was a rebound off a missed shot for the Lakers that he totally fumbled because him and a teammate got into, like a little contest of who was going to get the board and ended up going out of bounds. So that was the 10th rebound right there. It was a triple-double for Ben Simmons, essentially, just one rebound shy. Big Shot Bob signs a contract. He gets 12 points, hit 2 threes. We signed him for a 4-year extension. $62 million. Mark Jackson, the whole entire game. I went for the ESPN route. I wanted to hear what they were going to say about it. They were literally praising the 76ers the whole time. They say they play with this kind of attitude. They have a certain attitude. Ben Simmons, before the game started, didn't even go around and shake the other team's hand. He went right to his position and waited for the jump ball. Waited for the tip-off. He saw that as an attitude change. Like, I ain't here to make friends. I'm here to go out there and ball. And that's exactly what he did. But Joel Embiid, the way he Euro steps at 7'2" down low and finger rolls it in. Then there was a play where he had the ball in the post and does amazing footwork. Amazing. You haven't seen footwork like this from a 7'2" guy in years in the NBA. Twists and turns the defender around. And then he hits 3-pointers. It's beautiful. And he can hit his free throws, which makes him even more dominant. You even have TJ McConnell out there putting on a spin cycle on Lonzo Ball. Speaking of Lonzo Ball, not the greatest night as he gets sat again in the fourth quarter. His stat line, 2 points, shooting 1 for 9, 0 for 6 for 3, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and his 2 points were hideous, absolutely hideous. It was defended, contested, and it was an ugly, ugly layup that ends up finding the hoop. So he had another tough night. Now there's a video of him going right now on Twitter. New haircut. Someone tweeted that he lost 70% of his hair, which is the same amount of shots he's missing. Pretty ruthless. Listening to old Kanye just draining shots, just draining them. Putting in the work. Let's see how it pays off. But Brandon Ingram had a phenomenal game as well. He put in 40 minutes, 26 points, 11 rebounds, shot 11 for 18. One of his best nights statistically. But who cares? Because this is all about the 76ers going to LA and getting a win against the Clippers and a win against the Lakers. Now on Saturday night, who do we play again? We got the Golden State Warriors in our barn. We're sitting at 8-6 right now. And yeah, there's a hot Celtics team in the same conference, not too far away. People are saying that's the team of the East. That's the team of the East. Well, there's other guys out there saying, you think that's the team of the East for the future? Look at what Philadelphia has going. We have guys. I was sitting in the shower the other day just thinking about the guys that we have. And I'm sitting there letting the water hit my back. And I'm thinking, we have Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is compared to LeBron James. And I just let that statement sit in, and I started to smile. And I was like, yeah, we actually have it. That's our city's player. And then I get the chills. And I'm like, yeah. And we have someone who's compared to Olajuwon in Embiid. Like, not only do we have a LeBron James type player, you're talking someone like Olajuwon comparisons. 46 points, dominant big man. Granted, I like what Boston has going over there. Kyrie is young and he knows what he's doing. Obviously, he's been there before. You have Jaylen Brown, who's playing great. You got Jason Tatum, awesome. I don't think those guys have any comparisons, or not only comparisons, because, you know, at this point you can compare players all you want, but they're actually doing it. Ben Simmons is actually putting up LeBron James-like numbers. Embiid is putting up 46 points and can't be stopped down low. And if he is, he can shoot the three. Or you're going to have to foul him and you can put him on the line. So I just don't see Boston having those kind of players. And we haven't even seen Fultz yet, truly. We haven't. J.J. Redick had a tough night shooting. And we still get it done. Because we got someone like Big Shot Bob now who can get the job done, who's got great numbers. I tweeted the day after this game. What it said was I dreaming last night, or does this city of Philadelphia really have talent like Embiid and Simmons, with the famous gif of the guy like shaking his head and his eyes blinking fast? Like, huh. Yep, it's true. It's 100% true. And right before that game, because that was a doubleheader on ESPN, you had the Cavaliers and the Hornets. And I watch every Cavs game just like I do the 76ers because I love LeBron James. Kevin Love had 22 points and 10 boards, gave himself a double-double. LeBron James, 31 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds. Another dominant game by the King. They are 8-7 at this point, and they're figuring it out slowly. But they're figuring it out. But something that happened Thursday night in Boston, Celtics beat the Warriors to keep their winning streak alive. And I think that was a true statement. I really do. I mean, they're obviously a good team. Jaylen Brown had 22. Kyrie Irving had 16. Al Horford had 18. Al Horford actually had a double-double. 11 rebounds as well. But yeah, you know what? They're hot right now. It's early in the season. Just saying, in the future, in the next 3 years, I would rather be where we are right now in Philadelphia with the 76ers than where Boston is. Now, I like their coach way more. I think they have a stellar coach, and they nailed it with Brad Stevens. He is a absolute stud of a coach, young, going to be there for a long time, and knows the game. So they definitely have an advantage when it comes to the coaching. But that's all right. We got the talent. We have the talent. I get so excited for Sixers games. I'm actually upset when I know that they are not playing. It's like, damn, I got to wait 2 more nights till I can watch the Sixers. That's how amped up I am. Because I ain't getting it from the Flyers. That's for damn sure after they lose another game in a shootout, shocker, to the Winnipeg Jets. And we know, we had a 2-0 lead in the first period, and we find a way to blow it. It's typical. I can't get over it. I don't even get excited for the Flyers games anymore, but that could be because I'm so pumped for this 76er squad. I'm amped for this Philadelphia Eagles game that is occurring on Sunday night. It's been a little rest, I feel, for my Eagles talk, but that's going to happen over the bye week. Here we go. We're going into Dallas. It's Dallas Cowboys week. No Zeke. Zeke has officially been done with all that crap. He's done with it. He's just going to accept it, which is great. Let's move on from it. Jerry Jones is now in a whole situation for going after Roger Goodell, and the other NFL owners don't like it, and now there's a whole situation going on with Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. They want him to fold the franchise and all this talk. That's never going to happen. You're talking about one of the biggest professional teams ever. That's like saying, hey, let's go fold the Yankees. Just won't happen. But Jerry Jones is attacking Roger Goodell, and that's not a good look for him at all. And it seems like people are backing up Goodell, which you never would have thought would ever happen. Nobody likes him. But Alshon Jeffrey apparently has an ankle injury, questionable to go on Sunday. He came out and said that he is going to be playing on Sunday, which you love to hear. He's going to be out there. It's too big of a week. We're talking Dallas Cowboys week. I just got the goosebumps just thinking about it. I was listening to Baltimore Sports Radio on my way to class the other day, and they were discussing how great Green Bay and Lambeau Field is. And I agree. Awesome. One of the greatest places that you can ever go to a game and watch. It has so much prestige in the building. They were talking about how nice the fans are. So welcoming. You go there, they're like, oh, how do you love it here? That's all great and dandy. I like our side. I like the ruthlessness of Philadelphia. You're coming in here with our jersey on, you're going to get punched in the bathroom by going, when standing in the urinal line. You're going to get screamed at, you're going to get the finger, you're going to get the F-bomb, and that's just the way it is. But that's beautiful. I like that side of it. That shows passion. Not that Green Bay doesn't have the passion, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to sit there and say, hey, you're from Miami, come on, come watch the game here in Philly. I want to pour a beer on your head. To a certain degree. To a certain degree. I still have a lot of respect for other guys, and I respect you for having the balls to come into Philly and wearing another jersey, but I like the mean attitude. I like the mean attitude, the barn, where you just don't want to go, that you're scared to be an opponent and come into our building. That's the way it should be. That's home field advantage. Sticking on this Eagles kick I got going on here. I saw something interesting, and I want to look up the Vikings and the Saints and their upcoming schedule, because they play each other, these NFC teams. I talked about it a couple episodes ago, and I was nervous for Rams, Vikings, Saints. And I was, because they have great records. But if you look at their upcoming schedule, they have to play the Rams. They have to play the Panthers. They have to play the Falcons. Twice. So right now they're sitting hot, but you're talking about a Rams team that are going head-to-head with each other, so one of those teams have to lose. You're playing a Panthers team that are finding games to win, and then you got to play the Falcons twice still. So those are some losable games on the Saints' schedule. Absolutely. Now let's take a peek at the Rams schedule. Let's see who they have up. They're playing the Minnesota Vikings. And then after that, they play the Saints. So there's 2 games right there. They still have to play the Seahawks. They still have to play us. There's losable games for them too. I just know they have to start going head-to-head with each other, which is good, because they're going to start beating each other up before they get to the playoffs. Vikings, they have to play the Falcons. They have to play the Panthers. I feel like they have a little bit easier road than the Rams and the Saints do. But there's still a lot of time left. Hey, for this Eagles team, it's halfway through the season, and it's not over yet. We're sitting at 8-1. This Dallas game is huge, because 9-1 and 8-2, with how hot other teams have been. I'm not used to being in this position, by the way. I'm not used to looking around the league and thinking about who I'm going to be scared of, because our team's going to be seeing those teams in the future in the playoffs. So when I was sitting there watching these games on the Eagles bye week, I was thinking, damn, there are a lot of hot teams right now, and it's not easy to win the Super Bowl. There's a lot of hot teams, not only in the NFC that I always talk about, but you're talking about an AFC with the Pittsburgh 8-2 team who destroyed the Titans last night on Thursday Night Football, which we will get to. You have the Patriots. I mean, the NFC right now is so hot with Carolina being 7-3, Saints 7-2, Minnesota 7-2, Rams 7-2, Eagles 8-1. And I know I just said that they're going to be bashing each other in, which they are. So that's why I'm just going to keep waiting it out. I don't want to get too amped up. But I'm just not used to looking at other teams and saying, damn, I'm scared of them going into the playoffs. It's new to me. It's hard to win the Super Bowl when there's so many teams that are so hot and good. But speaking of that Thursday Night Football game, the Tennessee Titans and the Pittsburgh Steelers played off on Thursday night. Record-wise, skill-wise, you would think it would be a little bit closer of a 40-17 game. Tennessee falls to 6-4, and Pittsburgh move on to 8-2. Mariota had 306 yards throwing, 1 touchdown, and 4 interceptions. Ben Roethlisberger, essentially 300 yards, 299, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Antonio Brown with the big day, 144 yards, 3 touchdowns. Longest one, 41 yards. They're playing man coverage on Antonio Brown. How can you not realize that that's the wrong move? You're going to shut down Le'Veon Bell. That's great. You're going to leave Antonio Brown in single coverage. Just ridiculous. Things that guys like me can see right here on my TV. Just doesn't make sense. But the Steelers, they win again. Another hot team. It's scary. It's a scary world out there. Lastly here for the NFL, let's just run through some of the games of the week that are intriguing. Obviously on Sunday Night Football, Eagles at Dallas. That's going to be the game of the week. How can it not be? You have the Patriots and the Raiders Sunday at 4:30. You have some of these games are bad. Redskins Saints, which is a good game. The Redskins have a 4-5 record, but they're not a 4-5 team, I feel. That's a team you got to watch out for. They can come out and play every single night. Vikings Rams 1 o'clock. That's the 1 o'clock game of the day. I will definitely have my eye out on that game because, that's huge for the NFC at this point. Packers Ravens. You got a Packers team. To me, the Ravens are relevant because I am living locally at the time. They're sitting at 4-5, but they're really upset. They're over, Flacco, Harbaugh. They're over that. They're ready for moves to be made. They're very upset with their drafting. This is all stuff that I hear on Baltimore Sports Radio. And yeah, so those are the games on Sunday. And then Monday night is a beautiful game. Another great NFC game. Seahawks hosting the Falcons. And we will see how the Seahawks play without a Richard Sherman. We'll see how the Falcons play, sitting at 5-4. And we'll see how it goes and watch and keep an eye out on these NFC squads. And some college football games this week. Let's see what we have on the board. Alabama playing a Mercer team. That looks like an Alabama win. Wisconsin hosting, an unbeaten Wisconsin team, hosting Michigan, 8-2. That should be a great game. Let's see if Wisconsin can keep their playoff hopes alive. Miami hosting Virginia. Oklahoma has an easy one against Kansas. Michigan State plays Maryland. Stanford plays Cal. USC plays UCLA. LSU plays Tennessee. Nothing too crazy when it comes to numbers-wise, ranking-wise, who's playing who, but hey, that's the beauty of it. You never know. There's plenty of upsets, and we all know that. Every week, teams go down, so, those are just some of the bigger teams and their games this week. So let's move along to a little bit of MLB because there has been some big news. I mean, the Cy Youngs have been given out, and the MVPs of each league. So the AL MVP is Jose Altuve. Shocker. Nope, not at all. He had a remarkable season. 24 home runs, 39 doubles, 81 RBIs, 32 stolen bases, 346. And let's not talk about the amazing run that he had in the playoffs. I mean, between him and Judge, Judge is a bigger name player for sure, but you got Jose Altuve, who had a remarkable season. One of the best that I've ever seen. Consistently throughout every single month, playing fire. Pretty much. Just playing with fire. And gets it done to end it with a World Series. Stanton wins the National League MVP, and he won by 2 points. 59 home runs, 132 RBIs. He had a phenomenal year with the home runs. Literally were so close to beating world records in the books. Some have some asterisks behind it due to steroids. Some don't. But hey, he had himself a phenomenal season, and there's talks that he might be coming out of Miami. Derek Jeter might be making moves over there, ship him out, maybe start fresh, get some key prospects. At one point I heard the Phillies were actually in talks, but I got a notification that we kind of withdrew from, who was leading with the chance to actually get him. So, let's move on to the Cy Youngs. The National League Cy Young. Max Scherzer becoming the 10th pitcher to earn the award 3 or more times. Just a dominant season, 16-6, 2.51 ERA, third in the MLB, and the National League best with 268 strikeouts. On the other side, the AL Cy Young, Corey Kluber, 18-4 record, MLB best, 2.25 ERA, and 265 strikeouts, third in the MLB. Now, to say Chris Sale's year wasn't amazing is an understatement. It was absolutely phenomenal, but Kluber just takes it from him with the season that he had. I'm surprised. Through the year, I could have totally thought that Chris Sale was going to end up winning the Cy Young, and that's just the truth. I'm going to look up Chris Sale's stats 2017. We are sitting at a 17-8 record, 2.9 ERA, and 308 strikeouts. So he clearly had himself a year. It just was not enough to take down Kluber and what he had going on. So I have, to end this here, a segment that I see, and one of the things that I find weird, and I see this a lot you see it in baseball, you see it in football on the sidelines, you definitely see it in hockey, and one of the things is professional athletes and the way that they show their frustration. You walk into the dugout after a strikeout, you see some guys throw the cooler, throw the hat, throw the helmet, punch stuff, screaming, and I get it, it shows passion, it shows that you really care and you're upset with yourself. Hockey, after a goal scored, I've seen people two-hand the goalpost, break their stick, especially in overtime after a loss and the game's over. I've seen all that. Football players throwing their helmets on the sidelines, bouncing it off the ground as hard as they can. And as an athlete myself, I was always taught, you don't show your frustrations. You got to show professionalism. And I was taught this at a very young age. I'm just shocked that professional athletes at that level, at the major league level, go around and do this. And I'm surprised that they're allowed to do it. And I get it. Some people like Puig have a personality that's what they do. That's how they show their personality. They show passion. And I get it to an extent. But when you're teaching kids that are so young never to do this, and they're watching guys on the MLB go in there and throw their helmet across the wall and throw the water cooler over. I just never understood that, and I was just curious on what you guys think about that. Let me know on Twitter at sportsandbrodes. You can reach out to me easily, especially in hockey, because I used to always bang my stick across the post when I was pissed when I was 6, 7, 8 years old. I saw a couple guys do it in last week when they lost in overtime. Drew Doughty or someone took his stick and slammed it across the post, breaks into 2 pieces, he gets off the ice. I don't understand, though. You're taught at such a young age. Now, to end this episode here, I'm going to go over my fantasy because currently we are 3-7. I will be playing for the toilet bowl this year, no doubt about it. And it sucks. I mean, there's 2 people worse than me at a 1-9 record and a 2-8 record, and then I'm sitting at 3-7. It's just a tough year for me. Fantasy has boned me for sure. And I have an ad on my fantasy app right now. What is going on? You're telling me I have to sit through this before I can discuss my team? Absolutely ridiculous. 3 more seconds. Okay, so here we go. I'm currently up 22-0 because of my field goal kicker. All right, that's great. My team has been lacking running backs. Guys like Amari Cooper have not performed as great as they should all year. He had one big game for me, I believe, that got me like 30 points, and I still lost that week. So he's been someone that has been very disappointing. I picked up Sanu from Atlanta, and he's actually been very well. I thought that was a very good free agent pickup. But some reason my running back situation has been garbage, and I feel like I want to switch it up and totally get a different team, a different look in here because this is clearly not working. But at this point, I'm just accepting the fact that I'm going to be in the toilet bowl, and it sucks. Matt Ryan against Seattle this week. I'm just going to test it because no Richard Sherman. Maybe he goes after that side a little bit. We'll see how that plays out for me, but probably not great because that's the way the season's going. I have Melvin Gordon, who is very up and down. He's not horrible for my running back position, but he hasn't been great as of late, and this is where it's bad is Derrick Henry. I get it. He's not getting many touches, but I don't have anyone else because I picked up McCaffrey. I had the last pick in the draft, by the way. I picked up McCaffrey, and he stinks. He's not doing very good at all. Eddie Lacy. Like, what do I got? I have nothing. In my wide receiver spots, Amari Cooper against New England, it's not going to work. It's going to be very disappointed, and I know it's not going to work. I'm just going to accept the fact that I'm going to take another loss. Getting heated. My best pickup of the year was Zach Ertz. Who would have thought he's going to have the year that he was having? Emmanuel Sanders in my flex. Who else can I put on there? Looking at my bench, Jimmy Graham. That Seattle Seahawks offense stinks. Absolutely stinks. He has a game the other night where he scores, 2 touchdowns, but only had, 8 yards maybe total? And then I keep him in and he doesn't do crap the next game. Fantasy gets me going so much. It's so frustrating. I only do fantasy football because fantasy hockey is too much every day. Fantasy basketball is too much. I like the idea of fantasy baseball, but I don't have enough friends that are engaged in the baseball as I am to the point where they would like to do fantasy on it for money either. Football is obviously everyone's number one, but it's so frustrating. My team looks so good on paper except for one running back, and I get demolished every single time. My ass is going to be on the ice because the loser has to do a full skate and slide on the ice with bare ass, and it's going to get cut up, it's going to get scarred, and it's going to suck. Hopefully my team does good enough where I can just escape the toilet bowl and not have to do this. There's my rant on my fantasy football team. With that being said, I am going to end this episode right here. Thank you so much for listening. As of late, the ratings have dropped off a little bit, and I get that because 2 weeks or so span, I was only putting out about 1 episode a week, and I wasn't being consistent with the episodes because I was a little bit busy. This week, this is my 3rd of the week. I went back to every other, and I'm going to see how it works out for me. I want to keep up the consistency. I want to keep up the good ratings. I know that there's fans out there that are loyal, that love it, and I respect that, and thank you guys so much for everything, all the views. So you can follow me on Twitter at sportsandbrodes. That's the best way to know when I release an episode. Also, call into the show. Let's get some callers back. It was hot for a while, kind of dipped out, which makes sense because statistically, only about 10% of people who listen to sports talk radio call in. So knowing my numbers, it makes sense that not many people call in. But you can. You have the option to. You can talk about anything. We can discuss it. All you got to do is use your voice recording app on your phone. Record yourself like you would call into any sports radio show and send it to sportsandbrodes@gmail.com. Very easy. Talk about any topic you want. So thank you guys for listening and have a wonderful day.